Wetland mitigation banking is one of the most important and often misunderstood tools in environmental permitting. If you work in land development, energy, or infrastructure, you've probably heard the term. But what does it actually mean? At its core, wetland mitigation banking is a system designed to offset impacts to wetlands and streams. Under Section 4.4 of the Clean Water Act, if you impact jurisdictional wetlands, you are typically required to compensate for those impacts. That's where mitigation banks come in. Instead of every developer trying to restore or create wetlands on their own site, which often leads to inconsistent results, mitigation banking allows impacts to be offset at a larger, professionally designed restoration site. Think of it like this. A mitigation bank is a pre-approved project where wetlands, streams, or other aquatic resources have been restored, enhanced, or preserved. These improvements generate what are called credits. Developers can then purchase those credits to satisfy their permit requirements. So instead of building a small, isolated mitigation area on site, you're contributing to a larger, ecologically meaningful project that has already been planned, constructed, and is being monitored. Now, how does a mitigation bank actually get created? It starts with site selection. The bank sponsor, often a private company, identifies a property with strong restoration potential. This might be a degraded agricultural field, a previously altered stream system, or an area with historic wetland conditions that can be reestablished. From there, the site goes through a detailed design process. Hydrology, soils, vegetation, and watershed context all have to be analyzed. The goal is to create a sustainable aquatic system that functions over the long term, not just something that looks like a wetland on paper. Once the design is complete, it's reviewed by an interagency review team, or IRT. This typically includes the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the EPA, and state regulatory agencies. They evaluate everything from ecological viability to long-term protection. If approved, the bank enters into a formal agreement, often called a mitigation banking instrument. This document outlines how many credits the site can generate, how success will be measured, and how the site will be managed in perpetuity. Credits are not released all at once. They are issued in phases as the project meets specific performance standards. This ensures that the ecological lift is real and measurable over time. Now let's talk about why mitigation banking is often preferred. From a regulatory standpoint, banks offer higher success rates. They are larger, better planned, and professionally managed. From a developer's perspective, they reduce risk. You're not responsible for long-term monitoring or potential failure of a small mitigation site. Instead, you purchase credits, satisfy your permit condition, and move forward with your project. However, there are some important limitations. Mitigation banks operate within defined service areas. You can't just buy credits from anywhere. The bank has to be located within the same watershed or region where your impact occurs. And credits can be expensive. Prices vary widely depending on location, demand, and resource type. In some areas, stream credits can be significantly more costly than wetland credits. Finally, timing matters. Not every area has an available bank. In those cases, permittees may have to pursue permittee responsible mitigation or use in-lieu fee programs. So what's the takeaway? Wetland mitigation banking is about consolidating restoration efforts into larger, more effective projects while giving developers a predictable path to compliance. It's not just a regulatory checkbox. It's an attempt to balance development with meaningful ecological outcomes. And if you understand how it works, you can navigate the permitting process more efficiently, reduce project risk, and make better decisions for both your client and the environment. If you want to better understand how wetland regulations actually impact your projects and how to navigate them efficiently, subscribe and check out swampschool.org.